Truth and freedom. As part of the theology of the body, we need to have a clear understanding of what is truth and what is freedom. All our questions with regard to the goodness or evil of any actions or situations should be founded on truth. And as human beings loved and created by God, we need to understand the gift of freedom God has given us. Let's start with the truth. It's not uncommon to hear people say that the truth is relative. What is true to you may not be true for me. It's all a matter of perspective. However, when it comes to truth, we have what we call the objective truth. The objective truth is not relativism. Relativism is when it is up to individuals to determine the criteria for what is evil and what is good. The morality is in the hands of the individual. Whether people are aware of it or not, these actions suggest that God made some mistakes with His laws and rules, and it also suggests a lack of trust in God. We don't trust Him that He has the best intention for us, and that He knows best. So what is this objective truth? This objective truth is not based on periods of history or any cultural values. What is good is always good across history and across cultures. What is evil is always evil across all periods of history and culture. For example, any action that demeans the dignity of a human person is considered an evil act. Rape and murder are always evil acts. The objective truth, then, is simply reality as it is. It is not based on what we feel or what we think of it. Our inconveniences or preferences do not necessarily make a good act bad. The objective truth is necessary for us to truly enjoy freedom. So what is freedom? Many of us feel that freedom means being able to do anything that we want without being restrained by any rules. But freedom is not that. That is our free will which God has given us. The gift of free will allows us to choose between good and evil, allowing us to determine our own destiny. Freedom, on the other hand, is the ability to desire good and to choose good. To be free means to be who we really are, and God created us good. So the real freedom in exercising our free will is when we choose to do good, because being good is our true nature. Unfortunately, as a result of the fall, aka the original sin, our free will is now imperfect and it is deprived of strength. That means we struggle to choose good. However, whenever we choose God and whenever we choose to do His will, it makes us stronger to choose to do good in the future. For freedom to be authentic, it has to exist within boundaries. Think about it. If you are to play a game, there are rules to the game that allow you to play well. Basketball has rules that help everyone enjoy the game. So for us to truly enjoy our freedom, there should be boundaries. These boundaries can be seen as constraints, which are either external constraints or internal constraints. The external constraints refer to the laws and rules of God and the society, which ensure that we do not do immoral deeds like murder or adultery. It can also be internal constraints, which are our distractions or disordered desires, which make it difficult for us to desire and choose good. Can you think of an example? What if you have a disordered desire for too much leisure? What good are you prevented from being able to do? Instead of using some of those time to help others, you are indulging in too much time for your own enjoyment. Leisure in itself is not bad, but if you want to spend too much time on leisure, then maybe it gets in the way of you doing the good you could have done. Now, I know constraints can be frustrating, but when our hearts have been redeemed by God, we will not need these constraints. Think about it. Do you personally really have a need for the law prohibiting theft if you don't have the desire to steal? No. To you, it doesn't matter if that constraint exists or not because you don't have the desire to break the law. Constraint is really just a constraint if you have the desire to go against it. And when our hearts are redeemed, we will find the joy in freedom, the joy in desiring and choosing good. Perhaps another reason why we feel the weight of the external constraints and the difficulty of having to fight our internal constraints is that we are not convinced that these constraints lead us to our own good. Talking about external constraints or the rules, many of us feel burdened when we have to abide by them. Perhaps it is because we do not have a relationship with the rule maker. After all, implementing rules without building relationships creates rebellion. If we know the laws of God but do not know the heart of the one who gave them to us, then we will not trust him and will assume that we will find fulfillment elsewhere. Think about moments where you knew that your parents' rules are still for your own good, even though you absolutely hated them. You still abide by them because you trust and love them. You know that your parents want the best for you. We have to know God. We have to know His heart. We have to know Jesus. Jesus is the truth, and Jesus sets us free from the slavery of sin, enabling us to attain authentic freedom. And knowing that we are made for freedom, let us ask ourselves what we are made free for. For freedom without responsibilities is the opposite of love. And going back to the primary message of Theology of the Body, we are made for love.